Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Lunch Table. I am your host, Ben Houselog, a.k.a. Ben Like Sports, a.k.a. Devon Achan. I need you to get to a 5-game win streak in my fantasy lineup, and we just had a day of football. You can say that. It is currently 10:53 p.m. out here in Iowa, right off of the railroad tracks, and like I said, we had a very interesting day of football. So without further ado, Shannon Sharp, take it away.
Yams, collard greens, mac and cheese.
I would start this off about college football Saturday, but both of our picks lost, and there is so much to cover in the NFL that you guys know what I'm going to say. I got 2 wrong. That's on me. Went 0 for 2. Hey, Indiana, they're moving on. Miami lost. Hey, I didn't say it on here, but I did say it on Twitter. So if you aren't following my Twitter, shoot it a follow. Without further ado, we start off with the Giants and the Panthers in Germany. I called the Lions winning this game because I thought they would do decent. They were in position to win this game, and then Daniel Jones got the football. You see, I've been a defender of Daniel Jones for far too long, man. And I think that today is the day I renounce my Daniel Jones love. I understand Tyrone Tracy may have dropped the ball into the defender's hands. I don't care. But shout out to Josie Jewell, the Iowa legend, the boy from Decorah, Iowa, cooking on the Panthers, and the Panthers win in overtime, which means that Bryce Young, yes, Bryce Young, the first overall pick, who was benched earlier this season, is now on a 2-game win streak with the Carolina Panthers. Did he play 2 powerhouses? No, he didn't. But what did he do? He won the game. That's all anybody wanted to see out of him, is winning some games. Panthers beat the Giants over in Germany, and we actually gave Germany a pretty good football game. So shout out to that. Everyone who's German out there, shout out to you guys. We actually have a couple of viewers in Germany, listeners in Germany. Shout out to you guys. Moving on, we had the Patriots going into Soldier Field to play the Bears. I thought the Bears were going to win this game because I thought they would show up to the game. They did not show up to the game. Ever since the Hail Mary, it has been so far downhill for Chicago. So far downhill. Patriots beat the Bears 19-3. Caleb Williams got sacked 9 times. 9 times. I almost had to use my toes to signal how many times Caleb Williams got sacked. That leaves me thinking one thing. Completely blow up the Bears. I don't mean like Bane in Dark Knight Rises. I mean Eberflus, Waldron, they need to be gone. Because you guys put everything into trading to get Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and now you guys are looking like you're going to miss the playoffs because Caleb Williams, as much as I want to defend him and want to see him play good, he has not really played good against a good team. Which, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. You kind of need to do that if you want to make it to the playoffs. They can't block for him. Now the defense is getting banged up, and that defense that you were hanging your hat on, where are they at now? They can't help you. So what do? You sure don't go with Flus and Waldron. Now you need to bring in an offensive-minded head coach to pair with your rookie quarterback. Obviously not this year. It's going to be next year. Ben Johnson. Maybe not after tonight, but Ben Johnson, Liam Cohn, Clint Kubiak. You need to get an offensive young guy. If I was the Bears, here's what I would do. I would open up the Shanahan tree and just throw a dart at it. Pretty good chance that you get someone good. But knowing the Bears, they will probably just rehire Matt Nagy, and yeah, that's probably how it's going to be. As far as the Patriots go, Drake May finally got his first win as a starter. Big time. That's a big-time dub. What are they going to do from here? Who knows, man? Maybe they play well. Maybe they don't. They're not really in the playoff picture for me, so I'm going to kind of put them on the back burner. Yes, I'll still talk about them. Gerard Mayo lives to see another day. Patriots, 19. Bears, 3. Blow up the Bears. Blow them up. The front office, not like that, okay? You guys understand what I'm saying. Moving on, you have the 49ers defeating the Buccaneers at the buzzer. And the 49ers kicker missed 3 kicks before he hit the game winner. Let me just say, Jake Moody is like the kid who, if you're playing pickup basketball, bricks, air balls all game, does not hit a single shot, and then for the last shot of the game, he chucks one up and banks it in. And everyone's like, that's ridiculous. Deebo Samuel, the 49ers long snapper, they're getting into it on the sidelines. The 49ers now have CMC back. They honestly should have lost this game, but they didn't. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers decided to roll out Chris Godwin down 2 scores, and now they are facing the consequences. Tampa Bay is just a couple rolls of the ball away from leading the NFC South and being a top-tier playoff contender. But now, they are fighting for their playoff lives. 49ers, on the other hand, Ricky Pearsall, he got his first touchdown. He's on my fantasy bench. I said it. I added him. I said, hey, Ricky, I'm going to put you back there. I'm going to watch you cook. Might be entering the starting lineup because Tank Dell and Zay Flowers ain't doing it for me. Majority Tank Dell, but we'll get to that one later because we have a lot to talk about that Sunday Night Football game. Moving on. We have the Broncos and the Chiefs, and if you guys listen to this, I said the Broncos would be the first team to upset the Chiefs. And I had an edit ready to go of me calling it and then the game. But the Chiefs blocked the field goal at the buzzer to stay undefeated. Here's what I am going to say. There is something going on with the Chiefs that we need to investigate. FDA, CIA, FBI, somebody. I think that in order to make the Chiefs prove that they are playing fair, you need to search every single Chiefs fan, Chiefs player, and Chiefs employee to make sure that they aren't sneaking in small rodents to sacrifice at halftime when the game isn't going their way. Because every single time that you think you have the Chiefs caught, they come back and win. You need to make sure that Taylor Swift isn't bringing in some stones and doing a Doctor Strange ritual to make sure that everybody on the defensive line of the Chiefs gets a plus 20 attribute boost late in the fourth quarter. We need to look at all these things. Mahomes gets hurt, bounces back next play. Chiefs can't stop a nosebleed, somehow block a field goal at the end of regulation. And it hurt my heart because I thought for one time glory would be coming to the lunch table, that we would finally get a hard hat on, get gritty, and call out what everybody was afraid to say. I thought we finally did it, gentlemen. For everybody that was tagging me on Twitter, my heart goes out to you. I appreciate you. We will get better. We will learn from this because I don't know how the Chiefs keep doing it, man. You got the PIs. You have the coin tosses always going your way. Game-winning field goals. And now a blocked PAT at the buzzer. It's just ridiculous, man. I don't understand how they keep doing it. Now a lot of people are going to say, oh my gosh, you're such a hater. Duh. Who doesn't hate on the winner? If I win, I'm hating on the losers. If I lose, I'm hating on the winners. I'm going to hate regardless. Not actually hate, like I don't really care that much, but come on, dude. I want my team to be able to have some success. Instead, my quarterback runs back and tosses a pick six. If Mahomes threw a throw like Jordan Love did, it would bounce through the defender's hands. Actually, no, they would pick it off, and then they would get a pick six. Just somehow, some way, it would happen. But the Chiefs have dark magic. We need to make sure that they aren't sacrificing rodents or rabbits at halftime. We need to make sure they're not doing any witch rituals to make sure they win. We need to do it. Not for just our safety, but for the safety of the league. Our sacred, sacred league is being torn apart by these guys. But next week they play the Bills. But I'm getting too far ahead of myself. We still have a lot of games to go over. But I had to go off on that tangent, man. Because it is getting ridiculous. I'm taking a sip of my Kiwi Strawberry Propel. Propel, sponsor me. Hey, we're almost at 2,500 total downloads, which is a good milestone. Bills and the Colts. I had to pick up the Bills defense on fantasy, so I'm happy about this game. But I was in favor at the start of the move to put Flacco back in. Because I thought, hey, maybe Flacco will give you a better chance to win this game. Flacco did not give you a better chance to win this game whatsoever. This man was throwing straight Stevies. Straight to Taron Johnson. Taron Johnson almost had 2 pick sixes, man. Almost had 2 of them. Jonathan Taylor was running the ball well. But I don't know what the Colts are doing. Sometimes they're just like, oh yeah, Jonathan Taylor. You look like you can do a pretty good pass pro. We're going to drop back and throw the ball. Why are you dropping back and throwing the ball? Do you not see the all-pro running back right there? He is already one of the best running backs in Colts history. Genuinely. He surpassed Eric Dickerson today. Now, I know he was on the Rams, and the Colts was kind of at the back end of his prime, but still, come on, man. What are we doing? If you're going to just run the ball the whole time, put Anthony Richardson in there. At least he gives you some sort of a threat to pull the ball. If I saw Joe Flacco pull the ball, I'd think that he pulled a hamstring. Or he's about to throw a screen. What are we doing here? Yes, I was in favor right away, but right now it looks like, what are we doing, Colts? I want to love you guys. On the flip side, Buffalo Bills. Shout out to Mac Hollins. Number one, his TikToks are great. I clean my garbage disposal properly because of him. He's getting better and better each week. Special teams, he makes the plays. He always comes up with a big catch when you need it. And the Bills are rolling. This was the first time that we saw Josh Allen look like the Josh Allen of the past. Pretty careless with the ball. But the Bills' defense is looking better and better each week. That is a scary, scary thing. Bills beat the Colts. Moving on. Taking off my glasses here. And I might have to take off my sweatshirt because I'm getting very, very hot. You had the Steelers at the Commanders. And a lot of people had the Commanders. Let me say that again. Had the Commanders for this game. I was taking off my sweatshirt. And it looked like, honestly, the Steelers were going to let the Commanders run away with this one, right? They run a fake punt from like their own 11-yard line, get the perfect look, and the lights were too bright, and Buddy dropped the ball. I thought it was over then and there. Austin Eckler, 2 touchdowns. I'm like, oh my gosh, the Steelers just lost this game because they went for it on a fake punt. Until the Steelers punted it themselves, and the Commanders dropped the punt. Steelers get it back and score a touchdown. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about George Pickens. George Pickens is by far and away the most entertaining player to watch in the NFL, day in, day out. That is without a doubt the truth. I don't care what anyone says. That is without a doubt the truth. In one game, I watched this man throw a DB off him, pivot in the air, and catch a touchdown. Then I watched a pick get thrown that was intended for George Pickens. He tagged the runner down, and instead of chasing him, he started fighting another defensive back. I kid you not. The defensive back comes up to block George Pickens, right? And you're thinking, okay, he's just getting in his way. George Pickens grabs him by his helmet and throws him down and jumps on top of him. That's the kind of fight I want to see out of receivers. And then he got a quick little screen pass, jumped, stiff-armed the DB, grabbed his face mask, turned him around, and used him as a human shield. He is the most entertaining player to watch in the NFL. I apologize that I am stumbling my words. I watched the BYU-Utah game, then woke up for Giants-Panthers, running on like 4 hours of sleep. But hey, how many times did we go to the lunch table when we were tired as kids, sit down and still talk about ball? So we're going to talk about some ball. Vikings at the Jaguars was a football game all time. More and more we're starting to see Jet Sam Darnold come back. And for the Jaguars, we wanted Mac Jones to do well. We are a Mac Jones loving pod. He did not do well. Not do well whatsoever. He actually did very bad. And the Vikings didn't score a single touchdown. Still won the game. This is one of the days in the NFL. I think there were like 30 total touchdowns on Sunday, which is ridiculous. There were probably more interceptions than touchdowns. I'm thinking you probably got half of it in the NFC North between Darnold, Goff. Caleb Williams didn't throw one. Shout out Caleb Williams. But also going back to the Steelers Commanders, I did say the big thing I want to see the Commanders do is hang in a big game, run the ball well, and play good defense. They did so. Mike Williams down the sideline. Shout out Mike Williams. I told y'all on the trade deadline, he still has some juice left. Unc still got it. It is the Commanders' DBs. And I will be real, they're not the greatest DBs, but they have heart. That's all you need. Vikings beat the Jaguars 12-7. They got a win. It wasn't a must win, but it's a good win to have. Moving on. We called an upset correctly, ladies and gentlemen. We called one correctly here. We had the Falcons facing off against the Saints. And the Saints head coach, Mr. Rizzy, the Rizzler, gave a press conference after the game after they won and said his first act as head coach on game day was to go in the head coach's locker room and clog the toilet. And if a man takes dumps like that, if he can clog a toilet, imagine the courage that he has to go for it on fourth down. Imagine how well the players rally around him. Don't judge a man by the size of his character. Don't judge a man by the size of his biceps, by the size of his ears. Judge him by the size of the toilets that he clogs is basically what we got from today. Younghoe Koo missing a lot of field goals. But guess what? The Saints won. Marquez Valdez-Scantling somehow appeared, went for 2 touchdowns, 100-plus yards. I don't know what it is about the New Orleans Saints, but they always find a guy who will either get them 1 catch for -3 yards and a fumble, then the next game come out 3 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. First was Rashid Shaheed. Now it's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Who knows who's next? I don't know. Chris Olave was out. This was a gutsy win against a team that was top of the NFC South. Sure, okay. They are still 2 games ahead. But seeing the Saints beat the Falcons is like pretty nice because I see a lot of Falcons fans on my timeline talking, yapping. But hey, Saints fans, you got yourself a W. Hats off, man. Hats off to you guys. You did it. The lunch table is proud of you. And boys, all of us on this channel, this pod, we got 7 views on the last YouTube video. We're going viral. We're here. It's finally time that people started to recognize that we know ball around here, around these parts, the whole community. Saints beat the Falcons. Moving on. You had the Titans playing the Chargers. I didn't give much of a look into that game because I thought the Chargers were going to dominate. And they did dominate to a certain extent. Justin Herbert finally has a coach that isn't relying on Justin Herbert to do it all. When Brandon Staley was coach of the Chargers, his offensive philosophy was Justin Herbert, please save us. Threw him out there, said, go ahead. Didn't work well. Sure, it worked well enough to get into the playoffs or on the fringe of the playoffs. But now with Harbaugh, you run it with Dobbins. Throw it to Quentin Johnston. Throw it to Palmer. Throw it to Ladd McConkey. And they will let it ride. The Chargers is a group of misfits together playing their absolute tails off. That is the most John Harbaugh team that I have seen. And they're looking like they're going to make the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised to see them beat the Chiefs. I mean, someone has to do it. Someone has to beat the Chiefs. I'm sick and tired of it. Bills next week. But if I were willing to say something, Bryce Young against the Chiefs, absolute cinema. However, Will Levis looked a little bit better. Calvin Ridley is kind of getting into stride a little bit. I'm not sure if he's done taking his unders and switch to his overs. I don't know what he's doing, but it's working. He's balling out. Titans are kind of just, out there, kind of forgotten. So I wanted to give them a little bit of respect. You guys are balling out a little bit. Moving on. I'm taking a sip of my Powerade. Propel, not Powerade. I'm sorry, Gatorade. See, that's why you can't sponsor me, because I will 100% mess it up and end up putting traffic into something that you are competing against. That's on me. That's on me. That is on me. For all of my listeners, I apologize. And there is a deep drive in the left field by Castellanos. That will make it a 4-0 ball game. And we had the Jets at the Cardinals. And boy, I'll wear this one. Hand up. I thought the Jets were going to do it. I thought they were going to do a storybook, run the table, get into the playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl, and win. But then I realized it's the New York Jets. Why would I ever think that? Aaron Rodgers looked awful. Devontae Adams looked awful. The Jets as a whole organization and operation. Can you guess what I'm about to say? They looked awful. I don't know what got into them, but it isn't good. The Cardinals, on the other hand, Kyler Murray is an MVP level quarterback when he is on. And he has been on this season more than he has been off. Trey McBride, in my opinion, top 5 tight end in the league. James Conner, very underrated. Marvin Harrison Jr., starting to figure it out. Everybody was ready to write off Marvin Harrison Jr. after the first couple weeks of the season. Sure, he had that week 2 explosion. But other than that, everyone's like, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., they're better. Let's be real, man. I understand everybody wants to argue for argument's sake. Marvin Harrison Jr. is still the number 1 rookie receiver in the draft class out of all of these rookies. When it clicks, and it will click soon, it's over. It is genuinely over. Kyler is a dog. The Jets are absolutely cooked. I don't know. Like, they literally cannot lose another game because they're going to be competing with the Bengals, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Ravens, the AFC North. It's going to be bad. I don't think they can do it, especially with the Patriots winning another game. Taking off my glasses and just wiping them down with my rag. I mean, Jets, you mortgaged your entire future, doubled down, and lost. How are they still letting you pull the lever on the slots at the casino? Kick them out, man. Whose pockets did you rob? What cash out ticket did you find to put in the machine? I mean, what is happening here? I was rooting for you guys. I was rooting for Rodgers. But it looks like, man, just some things you can't come back from. I'm ready to say it. The Jets season is over. Speaking of teams whose seasons are over, the Cowboys hosted the Eagles at Jerry World and once again got blown out at Jerry World. Jerry Jones has ruined the Cowboys. I don't have much to say for you, Eagles fans. 1, Cooper DeJean. He's a dog. We all told you so. Great punt returner. Kind of locked up CeeDee Lamb today. I was watching Red Zone, okay? I saw a couple plays where he was on him. He was cooking. Cowboys, if you're going to lose, at least let us watch Trey Lance. I understand Cooper Rush probably gives you a better chance to win. But after this, you're out of the playoff race, bro. Dak he's done for the season. It's over. You don't have a number 1 running back. You don't have a great ground game. Your defense isn't necessarily the greatest either. Now is the time to just market the upside players. Trey Lance, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. I just want to watch something fun. Not something like what I watched today, because that was bad. That was very, very bad. Moving on. This Sunday night football game was ridiculous. 7 interceptions total. The Lions went into Houston to play the Texans, right? Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. 5 of them. And the Lions still won 26-23. Had to drink that one with my pinky up. I was feeling classy. I don't know how you throw 5 picks and win the game, but Jared Goff should genuinely have to pay everybody's contract after that game, just for one game. My thought is Ben Johnson saw how much of a dumpster fire the Bears are and said, you know what? I can't go there. I know they want me. I know that everybody thinks I'm going to go there. I have to have a bad game to get my name out of contention. And the Lions are so good, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. AFC South. Yes, the Texans lost this game, but the Colts lost. Jaguars lost. And the Titans lost. So, really, it's just mid. Nico Collins gets to see another day. He didn't play. Honestly, now that everybody in the NFC South lost, you're not beating yourself up too much over it. At all, honestly. You probably weren't going to if you lost and everyone else won. Because let's be real, the Texans are by far and away the best team in the NFC South, or AFC South, excuse me. The one thing, though, is their line is very, very bipolar. In the first half, Their offensive line was phenomenal. CJ Stroud looked like CJ Stroud from last year when he was playing MVP level ball. In the second half, CJ Stroud's O-line was strip sacking him. I'm dead serious. There was a play where CJ Stroud's O-lineman ran back, caught him, and tried to take the ball out, ended up fumbling it, still got back on it. But it does make me wonder. Lions had 19 unanswered points on the road against a Texans team that everyone is excited to watch. How does that happen? How do you not score a single point in the second half? They had Joe Mixon and just stopped running him. I don't understand why they did that. I think Joe Mixon had 9 rush yards. He had been toting the ball so well, and then you're just like, you know what? They had to have had a parlay or something, bro. How do you strip sack, only run for 9 yards? Did someone smash the under in Lions money line mid-game? I don't understand how that happens. You had Jared Goff literally looking like he was Ryan Gosling from Remember the Titans out there. 5 picks in the W is nuts. The last time that there were 7 picks combined in a game was 1970. Richard Nixon was the president of the United States. They threw the whole country back to Watergate on an election week. What are we doing, man? That's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. I apologize. But the Lions somehow get it done. I stand by my take. Yes, the Chiefs undefeated. Yes, the Lions winning games. I still firmly believe the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. Firmly believe that. Sure, their secondary is Swiss cheese, but their offense is just that good. It doesn't matter. Moving on to our Monday Night Football preview. We had the Rams at the Dolphins. Massive game for the Rams. Honestly, still massive game for the Dolphins. They aren't out of it yet, and if there was a team that could leverage a ton of wins, it would be the Dolphins. The Rams. Who knows if Puka Nacua is going to be Mike Tyson? Who knows what Cooper Kupp is looking like? But the Rams just got a couple O-linemen back off IR. They're looking good. And if Puka Nacua is going to be Mike Tyson, then he can knock the Dolphins out of the playoff race right now. Hey, that was pretty fire. All right, I'll be quiet. But the Dolphins, another week with Tua, they started to kind of figure it out down the stretch last week. They're starting to figure it out. They need to gel together right now. This isn't an easy bake oven. The NFL isn't, where you can just take your time whenever you're ready. Then we can start. No, you need to win this game at home against the Rams, a team whose defense, their D-line, pretty solid. Their secondary, pretty buns. A team who just barely survived Seattle. You're going against a quarterback who could probably fire you up. Matt Stafford is probably going to light the Dolphins up. Kyren Williams, one of the best running backs in the NFL this year. Touchdown scorer, gets a ton of yards. McVay versus McDaniels, 2 offensive-minded head coaches. What do I think is going to happen? Well, we are on kind of a hot streak, aren't we? We're getting a lot of games right. If I were to think that the Dolphins would win this game, that would mean that my fantasy team does well. And my fantasy team doesn't usually do that. We usually just get lucky. I think that the Rams win this game. The NFC West is an absolute bar fight for who's going to win it. Obviously, you have the Niners. Now you have the Cardinals. And now you have the Rams. Like I said, you might get one. You might get one. There's only 3 wild card spots, gentlemen. The Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings, NFC West. Buccaneers, probably not. Bears, probably not. Doesn't look that way, at least right now. So I think the Rams are going to go into Miami and win this ball game. I think Cooper Kupp goes nuts. And I think the Rams win. I really do. Thank you guys for listening/watching. We're getting a little bit of traction on the YouTube now. I appreciate that. Spotify, 125-star reviews. I'm not sure if you guys are just lying to me, but hey, I looked just this morning, 125-star reviews. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. And I will leave you guys with this. We are getting into the season of sports. College basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, they're all heating up. And I'm working like a dog to bring you guys these pods. So all that I ask is that you spread the word. If you're watching on YouTube, like and sub. If you're listening, just keep listening. I appreciate it. God bless. Jesus loves you. Peace.